Hi, Johanna. Hello, everybody. The next field that quantum computers are going to make an impact in is the world of security and cryptography. One of the most talked about applications of a quantum computer, and the one you have most likely already heard, is wreaking havoc on current cryptography methods. First, let's discover just how some of cryptographers work. Cryptography is a vast field of many different methods, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. Some methods are more popular than others, and one of the most popular methods is called public-private key encryption. The inner workings of public-private key encryption are beyond the scope of my video, but there are many other videos that explore this in depth. The important things to know about public-private key encryption are that you have two keys, one public key that anyone can know, and one that is private, that you don't want anyone to know. The two keys are linked mathematically in that the public key can easily be produced using the private key, but the reverse is extremely difficult. This allows the private key holder to be easily verified, but no one wants the public key could impersonate the private key. This amazingly allows encrypted communication between two parties over a network, like the internet, without the need for private or hidden line of communication. Without diving too much more into the rabbit hole of cryptography, you should know that not all public-private key encryption methods use the same mathematical functions under the hood to link the public and private keys. The most common way, thought, is to do this through large integers factorization. As an example, imagine that you had a very large number, say several thousand digits, that you wanted to find the factors for. Well, that's already a pretty hard problem, but to make it even harder, let's say the two factors had to both be prime numbers. This is a simplified version how some of the most common public-private key encryptions work. You start with two prime numbers, each several hundred digits in some cases, and multiply them together to get a product. The two prime numbers are your private key and the product is your public key. Knowing the private key, or the two prime numbers, it is trivial to reproduce the public key or the product, but knowing only the public key or the product is extremely difficult and computationally intensive to determine the correct prime factors of large numbers. This process of prime factorization is so difficult for a classic computer that has been relied upon as a security method for decades in public security technologies, such as TLS, RSA, and the more recent, the Bitcoin blockchain. All three of those guard a significant portion of everyday internet traffic and transactions. But what if reversing the public key into the private key wasn't so difficult? That's where a quantum computer comes in. A classic computer has to brute force this problem or try each possible combination. For sufficiently large factors like the ones used in public-private key encryption, the number of possible combinations to try becomes overwhelming, even for some fastest classic computer in the world. But as you have seen, a quantum computer has the potential to search those possible combinations much faster. A quick word of comfort before we move on. Before you go and close all your online accounts and credit cards to prevent future quantum computers from stealing them, you should know that there is a new and exciting branch of cryptography called post-quantum cryptography. This field is dedicated to providing new ways to secure against both classic and quantum computers. I have read articles from several researchers in this field, and they have some very promising methods for accomplishing quantum security before quantum computers arrive. Thank you for today. If you like my videos, please leave the comments to me. Bye bye!